Now it is full screen, right?
Yes, Mataji, now it's good. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can go ahead.
So first of all, we'll try to understand what is definition of health according to Ayurveda. So Acharya Sushruta, who is father of surgery in Ayurveda, has defined the term health or swasthya likewise. समदोषा समाग्निश्च समधातु मलक्रियाः प्रसन्न आत्मा इंद्रिय मनः स्वस्थ इति अभिधीयते. Swastha means healthy. Samadoshaha means everyone have three doshas in everyone's body, namely Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Vat is a dosh which takes care of all activities happening in the body. Pitta is a dosh which takes care of digestive capacity, digestive fire of the body, and Kapha is a dosha who takes care of maintenance of the body. Agni is our digestive fire. There are 7 nutritive layers in our body, namely Rasa, Rakta, Maunsa, Meda, Asti, Majja and Shukra. They are named as Dhatus. And Malakriya means excretory procedures like defecation, urination, likewise. So when there is sama means equilibrium of all three doshas, our digestive fire, 7 dhatus and our excretory processes, then we have happiness in our atma, our soul, our indriyas means our senses and our mind, that is our man. This all brings together a state which is called as swasthya, that is health. So according to Ayurveda, we have to have all doshas, dhatus, malas and our excretory procedures in the equilibrium to create happy state in our soul, senses and mind, bringing to health or swasthya. So coming to our aim is predominantly divided into two parts, prevention and cure. The first aim of Ayurveda is to prevent the diseases. Swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. Whosoever is healthy, the individual who is healthy, we try to prevent the health of the individual first of all, and if anyhow he or she lands into the illness or disease, that is atur is a patient or diseased person, then we try to vikara prashamanam, we try to cure the disease. So the aim of Ayurveda is to prevent the health and to cure the diseases. Now to maintain the health, we have some factors which we have to maintain, we have to follow, and then we can continuously keep our health better. So first of all, we have to take care of our daily routine, that is dinacharya, our seasonal routine, that is rutucharya, diet and nutrition, that is ahar. We need to have a good amount of sleep, that is 6 to 7 hours of nidra, and finally we try to maintain a better level of celibacy, that is brahmacharya. In this context, there is a saying, Ahara Nidra Bhayamaithunam cha Samanyametat Pashubhir Narana. There are 4 things which are common in us and in animals. That we take food, we sleep, we try to defend ourselves, and we have sexual contacts. But then what is the difference? What is the difference between us and animals? Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. Dharma. The religious principles what we follow, human beings follow, is a specificity between us and animals. If we don't follow dharma, even after we get a birth of human being, then we are as good as an animal. So it is necessary that in our human form of life, we should try to follow religious principles, and to follow religious principles or to follow dharma, these above factors would help. If we understand and try to follow these factors, if we try to follow daily routine, we follow seasonal routine, we try to understand what is good to my specific constitution, to my prakriti, what nutrition is good for me. If I try to, I or anyone try to understand how many hours of sleep is needed for his or her health, and whenever and how much celibacy is needed to a specific individual, if we try to understand these and follow, then it is very easy for an individual to follow dharma. That is our spiritual practice. So coming to dinacharya, that is daily routine. So first of all, Ayurveda say that Brahme Muhurte Uttishte Swastho Rakshartham Ayushaha. It means we should get up in Brahma Muhurta. Brahma Muhurta starts from 4 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. in the morning. That would help to protect our longevity of life. Rakshartham Ayusha. That is an intention. If we get up early in the morning, our life's length would definitely increase. After we get up in the Brahma Muhurta, the next thing we should do is to answer our urges. We should go for defecation, we should go for urination. We should not do that, we just brush and start chanting. No, we have to first answer our urges, the basic urges of our body, then we should go brush our teeth. It is called Danta Dhavan in Ayurveda. It has been said that we should at least brush twice a day. First, when we get up in the morning, and then whenever we have our big meal or main meal. So for the brushing, it has been advised that the paste or the powder what we use, it should not taste sweet or salty. It should at least be, it should be either astringent or bitter predominantly. There are some medicines also, plants also named, which are usually astringent or bitter in taste, which should be used for brushing. Next to that is Anjan. Anjan is application of medicated powder in our eyelids. These eyes are always having fear from cough. This has been a statement in many of the Shastras. So for protection of our eyes from watering, for having more discharge, having heaviness, we should usually do Anjan every day in the morning schedule. After the Anjan is a process called Nasya is administration less, 1 or 2 drops. The specificity of oil, the name of oil can be suggested according to the individual prakriti of that patient, the constitution of the particular person. Yeah, but amongst the type of nasya, there is a type of nasya called pratimarsha nasya, in which the quantity of oil is very less, 1 or 2 drops, only once a day minimum. So that has to be administered because it is been said that nasa hi shiraso dwaram. This nose is an opening of this whole area, above this notch. If you can see above this notch, everything has been covered from the entry of this nose. So if we administered medicated oil regularly in the morning hours, usually it is being seen that if some patients have allergic rhinitis or they have sneezing in the morning, they have headache in the early morning, that can be prevented. So nasya should be done. After that, gandush means oil pulling. We have to keep some amount of medicated oil in our mouth to for a while, say about 30 to 40 seconds only. This list seems to be very long, but if you practically do it, it will not take more than 15 minutes. So it is really very practical to follow these things. So we were talking about gandush or oil pulling. If we keep medicated oil according to the specific person's constitution, it would keep his or her mouth, the mucosa, and the gums very healthy. That's why we should keep keep doing oil pulling every day. After that is Tambul Sevan. It means bitter leaf chewing. It should be done twice before eating. After these procedures, we should be doing Tambul Sevan, means bitter leaf chewing. It would help us increase our appetite. At the same time, it would cleanse the mouth. And after food also, it would help digest the whatever food we have taken. So this is we have to follow after we getting up, and this would take only 10-15 minutes, and then we can start chanting. We can finish our rounds. After the rounds, after Tambul Sevan, the sequence says that we should do Abhyangam. You must have seen Prabhupada doing it through the video channels, definitely through the series, or we must have read that Prabhupada was doing it every day. Abhyangam is massage. Massage should be done throughout the body, on the body, especially in the morning hours, especially on the head, on your ears, and on your foot soles. These are the places where predominant doshas are present. And if we massage these specific parts, our old age can be prolonged, our tiredness can be removed, and pain in specific area of the body, especially in the thighs or in the lower back. According to the age, we have specific pain. For example, if someone is diabetic, they would have frozen shoulders. So there would be some block around the shoulder part. No, so this Abhyangam can definitely reduce the diseases which are coming. Next is Vyayam, that is exercise. Am I audible, Mataji? Should I continue?
Yes, you are. Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So next is Vyayam. Vyayam is exercise. Okay. So the definition of Vyayam is that it would help, the specific kriya or specific thing which would reduce our which would increase our whatever things we are doing. For example, if we are serving 50 individuals a day, and if we start exercising regularly, so you can see we can practically increase our serving capacity. This is called karma samarthyam. Dipte agnav means our digestive capacity increases if we regularly exercise. Medasaha kshaya, those who are fat, they have subcutaneous fat more in their body, that would gradually reduce. Vibhakta Ghanakatratva means our body building would be very specific. One can understand that yes, he is doing exercise. If you see some individuals, we would understand yes, his body shows that he is doing his exercise regularly. That's why we should do vyayam or exercise regularly. It is also said that it creates dhairya, stability in some person's life as well as his activities, and it increases his strength, balavardhini. That's why exercise should be done. Another quality of doing exercise is said that dukkha sahishnutam, the tolerance of pain will increase if someone is doing exercise. So exercise should be done regularly, but in Ayurveda it is been said that exercise should be done ardha shakti, whichever how much ever is the capacity of a specific individual. If I can exercise for 1.5 hours, and after that time I feel exhausted, so I should definitely do it for 30 to 45 minutes, not more than that. So I should not be extending my capacity, I should try to do exercise to half of my capacity, which is very important, so that excessive strength will not be driven. Otherwise, what happens usually I see in patients, they would do or start exercising, but because they extend their limit, they cannot continue it for longer time. There are some symptoms also by which we can understand that we should stop at this place. When if our heart rate is 72 naturally, so if it goes up to 80, it is fine. If it is going up to 90, 95, then you would have tachycardia. The heartbeat can be heard by you. Your own heartbeat you can hear. So that is a symptom wherein you should stop. You should not extend more than that. If you have sweating in both the axillas, dryness of your mouth, so you understand, no, this is a time where I should stop. And then next day you can increase by 1 minute. After that day you can increase. So gradually exercise can be increased and the capacity to do exercise can be increased, but someone should not extend the limit, so that would not be beneficial. So vyayam is necessary, but then it should be ardha shakti. Followed by that is udvartan. Udvartan is application of dry medicated powders on your body. Even after during the day, whenever we do many things, physical things, mental things, we have excess oil on our body, on the skin surface, and many types of dirt is also there. So that way, if everything is saturated on the skin surface, our perspiration and our external circulation reduces. To increase that, and another benefit is that those who are fat, their subcutaneous fat can be absorbed with this udvartan. So there are different types of powders utilized for a specific constitution of the patient or the healthy individual. By that, he or she can do udvartan. After that, it is being told that we should do snana. So for bath, it is being said that snanam ojas karam param. It means that our aura, every individual has an aura, which is considered as oj. Oj is of two types in Ayurveda, apara oj and para oj. So apara oj is the capacity to react. If we sit with someone, we feel very positive. If we sit with another one, we will not feel positive. So this is an apara oj. But para oj is, for example, if we see Maharaj, so we would have if we see Maharaj, we would have a different type of happiness. We will see how lustrous the Maharaj is. He is taking very less food, and he is not eating gulab jamun and everything, but still he has a different type. It's called as oj. So this oj, this is an example I just wanted to share. So this oj, you know, this is a para oj, and that can be increased by taking bath. So in some religions, they don't bath for even 7 days, 6 days, 5 days. Even my patients, they say that doctor, wo chhod ke baki boli bath daily. But you know, taking bath is very good. And here oja, again, it is said that it would increase your enthusiasm. If you feel like if you come from the, then you have another energy to work for your family.
Hare Krishna, Shraddha Mataji. Hare Krishna, Shraddha Mataji, we cannot hear you.
The do's and don'ts. Continue.
Mataji, we missed the last part because I think your internet was really slow.
Hare
So the
Krishna.
part where you're explaining the ojas, that part we missed
Am I
out.
audible, Mataji? Should I continue?
Mataji, can you hear me? Shraddha Mataji, can you hear me?
Eat and how to eat. So we should eat alpam hitam mitam, means the food which we are going to take or which we are taking, it should not be more in quantity. It means that you consider that our stomach is of
Ujjwala Mataji, maybe you can.
so it means that Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Should I continue?
Mataji, your voice is really breaking up. Like last 2-3 minutes, we couldn't hear what you said.
Krishna?
Yeah, internet is like really choppy.
Just a minute.
Shraddha Mataji,
Yeah.
the talk you are giving, the content of the talk, the importance of the talk is so beautiful, so nice. Just the internet connection is in and out, not able to go out. Don't want to topic. Yes, please. I think we missed for 2-3 minutes or so. If you could till ojas, para ojas, till there, we got
Hare
it.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Shraddha
Hari,
Mataji.
Hari.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, please.
Should I continue?
Mataji,
Yes, please.
yes, Mataji, please go ahead. Yeah.
So are you able to hear it now?
Yes.
Now it is okay, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay. So we should eat in
Thank you.
quantity. For example, if we consider
Mataji, we cannot hear you, Shraddha Mataji.
हितम and मितम, त्यांना आवाज नाही येत आपला.
I think the internet is like now it is really cutting off.
Yeah, it can be a little challenging from India, Mataji, the internet. But yeah, we see that. Great session, Mataji, but network issue. If
Can
you
you hear
can,
now?
yeah, here is a suggestion, Mataji. They say we can go outside or maybe on, it would pick up good. Great session. We want here.
Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
Yes, Mataji.
Sure, please. This is such an important subject matter, actually. We are hoping to get all this information as handouts. And of course, we will do the recording, but definitely has handouts. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
So, tan mana bhunjita means means we should concentrate while we eat. You know, we should not read or listen or speak or quarrel while we eat. So we should concentrate on eating. We try to understand what taste of the food is coming. It means tanmana bunjita. We should always eat freshly cooked food. So for that, Bhagavad Gita says that we should eat within 3 hours of the cooked food. Means once the food is cooked, we should not eat after 3 hours. After one prahar, we should not eat. It means we should eat freshly prepared food. And then a basic principle of Ayurveda says ekashanam sukhakaranam, means those who have sedentary lifestyles, for example, those who are doctors, engineers, lawyers, or chartered accountants, those who need to sit for long, they should try and practice gradually ekashanam, means they should eat once in 24 hours. That would create health, sukha, happiness in their life. So that can be gradually practiced. You know, we should always try and eat sattvic food. We should try and eat food which is cooked in ghee. Prabhupada says cooking means in ghee. So that has to be followed. We should not eat more pungent, spicy, that way. So this is do, and don'ts are we should not eat stale, fermented, and junk. We should not eat spicy and pungent, that we know. Speaking, watching, hearing some lecture. This is not good while eating. And definitely the tamasic food is not good for devotees. Coming to Rutucharya. So there are 6 seasons or Rutus according to Ayurveda. The first half is called Adan Kal. Adan is giving, donating. So from first season to the third, Shishir, Vasanta, Grishma, gradually our body's strength and our digestive capacity reduces. You know, so Shishir starts from January. So January and February we have a wonderful strength, wonderful digesting capacity. And it is same with the Hemanta Rutu, wherein it is November, December. You know, so the ending of the year and starting of the year, last 2 months and first 2 months, we have wonderful strength of body and digestive capacity. So that time we should try, do more exercise, have good health, healthy diet, heavy diet, that way. Then coming to the second part of the first half, you know, Vasanta Rutu, March and April. Similarly, the second part of Visarga Kal means Sharad Rutu, September and October, we would have a medium digestive capacity and medium health strength. So that in those 4 months, we try to have a medium capacity of food, and we should not more exert also, and we should not do no work also. But then in Grishma and Varsha, means in late summer and early rainy season, Grishma Rutu and Varsha, May, June, July, August, these 4 months, we have lowest strength and lowest digestive capacity. So we should be eating very light and not doing exercise, not exerting ourselves, not going into the sun for very long. So this is a basic principle. Adana means giving and Visarga means taking. So first 6 months of the year, January to June, we have reduction in our strength and digestive capacity. Next 6 months, we would gradually increase our digestive capacity and strength. So that way this cycle goes. So end of the year and starting of the year, we would have a wonderful strength, a wonderful digestive capacity. So we should utilize that period for exercise, for new things to do, for more exertion, for having good foods, trying new dishes, that way. And vice versa, in Grishma and Varsha, in the late summer season and early rainy season, we should take care of our health. The next slide. So we'll understand according to the season what we should do and what we should not do. So this Shishir, January, February, and Hemanta, November, December, first and the last season, we can have food of all rasas. There are 6 tastes in the food items. Sweet taste, madhur. Amla is sour taste. Lavan is salty taste. Pungent, astringent. There are 6 different tastes. So in these rutu, in these months, January, February, and November, December, we can have all taste in our dishes. We can enjoy heavy food. That's not a problem. Even sexual contacts, physical contacts are allowed. But exertion and after exertion, light diet is not allowed in even Shishir Rutu and in Hemanta Rutu. Coming to Vasanta Rutu. So in Vasanta Rutu, if you see in the universe, you would see that new leaves are coming, new flowers are coming. The season is very wonderful. Outside, the atmosphere is very beautiful. And inside our body, there is increment of kapha. So those who have asthma, they will have asthmatic difficulties. They would have allergic rhinitis, cough and cold predominantly. So those who have this difficulty, those who are comparatively fatter in their constitution, they should eat old barley or wheat, and they should undergo a Ayurvedic Panchakarma procedure, which is called as Vaman. Vaman is a procedure wherein we collect all the kapha through our stomach from the body, and we try to expel it out through vomiting with medications. So this procedure should be done even by the healthy or by the disease in the in the season of Vasanta, in the month of March and April. We should not sleep in day. There is only one Ritu season in whole of the year, which is Grishma, in the month of May and June, wherein we can sleep in the day. Otherwise, once we got up till the Suryasta, means sunsets, in between these hours, we are not supposed to sleep. But Grishma or summer is the only season, specifically month is May and June, wherein we can have day sleep. Coming to Varsha or rainy season, in the month of June and July and August, we have more Vat in our body. So those who are above 40, they would have pain, they would have gases, they would have constipation, they would have shoulder pain or joint pain. You can see this, that in the month of July and August, you would have this difficulty. So in food, honey should be used predominantly. It should be used in the water, means you can have honey water, or you can mix honey in some sweet dishes and have. You can have Ayurvedic medicines as Asav and Arishta. There is a specific category of medicines called, those are liquid medicines, and they have proportionately 2 to 6% alcohol in them, but they can be taken in Varsha Rutu. And in Panchakarma procedure, Basti, that is any medicated enema can be taken, both for healthy and for diseased people. Coming to Sharad Rutu, Sharad Rutu is September and October. It is Pitta predominant Kal. So in this Rutu or in this season, you can see that many skin disorders would come. Itching would come, people would have urticaria, some have psoriasis or eczema. Those who have predominant Pitta constitution, for them, internal ghee taking, it is called as ghee consumption. It is medicated, those ghees are medicated, that has to be done, or virechon, that is medicated purgation should be done, or bloodletting should be done. These are the Panchakarma procedures which should be followed by people, those who have skin disorders or pitta disorders, those who have varicosity or piles. They should be undergoing these Panchakarma procedure under a expert Panchakarma, Ayurvedic Panchakarma specialist. In Sharad Rutu, you should not eat curd. This is borderline. If we eat curd, whatever pitta diseases are coming, will be coming, they would come fast. Or if they are aggravated, their aggravation would increase. So we should not eat curd in Sharad Rutu. Coming to Hemant Rutu, it is similar to Shishir, as I have explained before, because those are cold months. So we should have all the rasas in our plate. We should have heavy diet, and exertion after light diet after exertion is excluded. So they, in these 4 months, January, February, November, December, we should have ample of food. As our appetite increases, we should have those. So coming to Ahar, I have explained it already, that if we consider our stomach as a 4-part, 2 parts should be solid, 1 part should be liquid, and 1 part should be kept for the airs to move. There is another reference about this quantity of food. They say that if there is a very sumptuous sweet dish, very heavy dish, even though you should not eat more than 1/3 or half of your capacity of the stomach. Okay. And if it is very lightest dish, which you like, but still you should not eat full stomach. Means there is no rule that you can eat up to here. There is always a possibility. There should always be a possibility ki once you wash your hand and someone says, please Mataji, come and have something. So you should be able to eat 1 chapati, So that much place should be there in your stomach. This is a rule of eating. Secondly, you should have your first heavy meal in the Pitta period. So it comes from 11 a.m. in the morning to 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. So between this time, you should have a first heavy meal of your day. Okay. There is a term called Savakasha, with Avkash, with space. It means that you take your own time, but keep some space in your stomach and eat. You should not eat just because you like the thing and you should eat up to this. No, it is not allowed. Our principle, ISKCON principle is we should pray before eating. You know, not only in ISKCON, even before coming to ISKCON, we were having different prayers which were being sung, and it means that our bhojan, whatever we eat, is like a yagya, you know, and whatever we eat one by one, it is like putting samidas in it. So you consider your gastric fire as a fire of yagya and putting morsels in it as putting samidas. So you respect what you eat, how you eat, sit properly on the ground. Principally, you should sit on the ground because it gives you a contact with the earth element, you know. So you sit on the ground and eat with 5 fingers, you know. These are 5 different elements in the universe. So once you take the morsel and put in your mouth, it means that sitting on the earth, it means that you are respecting the earth also. The fire, air, water, everything is being respected by you, you know. And then we sing different prayers respecting the food also. There is one another terminology called satmya. You know, satmya means which is suitable to you. For example, if you are South Indian, curd rice is satmya to you. If you are Maharashtrian, puran poli is satmya to you. If you belong to America, then burger, pizza is satmya to you. This is very, you know, it matches with your constitution. But a Indian cannot eat pizza every day, or an American cannot eat rice, dal, chapati, sabzi every day because it is not satmya to, it is not suitable to them. So you should always see that what has been fed to you since your childhood and what is suitable to you, and according to that you should eat, right? Whenever you eat, you first try to offer it. It should be homemade, very freshly prepared, and then you eat. There is a very borderline rule: eat only whenever you are hungry and drink only whenever you are thirsty. There is no rule written in Ayurveda that you get up early in the morning and drink 1 liter of water, 2 liter of water. Many patients comes to me and they say, madam, we are drinking this much of water, it is good for health. No. Atyambu panam vyadhi janananam. Whoever drinks water more than his or her capacity, it creates hell lot of diseases. It has been written many times in our Ayurvedic texts. So drink the amount of water which is minimally required and whenever it is required. And similarly about eating, you eat, don't eat because this is a time to breakfast, this is a time to lunch. No, according to season, your digestive capacity, your hunger changes, you know. So give time to your body and understand that yes, this is Varsha Rutu, I need to eat only once, I cannot digest more. This is Vasanta Rutu, I can eat twice. And this is Sharad, this is Grishma. So you understand accordingly and your body will give you signal, you know. Body immediately understands because this is creation of Krishna. Krishna is there in our heart. So indications are given, we are supposed to understand those and follow those. After the food, you know, there is a term called Vama Pukshi. Vama is left and Pukshi is left lateral. So for some time, if you had a good meal, you know, which is Kapha Vruddhikar, if you have tired heaviness and you wanted to sleep, so you have a free will to sleep for a while. It says, they say approximately 25 to 28 minutes, you can lie on left lateral side and take a nap. It is called Vama Pukshi. So kale alpam mitam bruyat avisamvadi peshalam is a rule. Means whenever there is a time, whenever you feel hungry, that is kale alpam. Means in a specific quantity, not more, without speaking a word. Mitam bruyat, minimal speaking while eating. Avisamvadi, you are not supposed to quarrel. Be polite and calm and then you eat. This is a rule of eating. Now there is a rule for drinking of water. It's very beautiful shloka. They say, Ajirane bheshajam vari. Whenever you have indigestion. So the medicine is water. Whenever you have indigestion, you try to drink warm water every now and then in a minimal quantity. But you should drink and the indigestion can be resolved. Jirane vari bheshajam. Once the food is digested, if you had food at 1 p.m. and it is 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m., your food is digested, stomach is free, then you can drink water that would give you strength. Jirane vari balapradam. Bhojane chamrutam vari. It is a very good habit to drink sip by sip water during your food. You should drink. That would help digestion. That would help the enzymes mix well in your food. Bhojanante Vishapradam. But immediately after food, immediately after you finish your meal, you should not drink water because it is as good as drinking poison. So this is a thumb rule for drinking water. We should try to follow this. So coming to sadhana and health, if we eat less in the evening or at night, we can start very early in the sadhana. We can get up well. We can see that yes, my sleep is done. If we have very heavy diet, we cannot get up early in the morning. So try to eat before sunset or around 7:30 and go to sleep early. Go around 9:30 p.m. So we can get up around 3:45, 4 a.m. in the morning. So eating less and early in the night is a first thumb rule for doing better sadhana. Eating fresh and sattvic is again another rule which is being told by Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter. They said that the food should be very snigdha, means it should have proper amount of ghee and oil in it. It should be madhur and sweet in taste. It should be palatable. So we should always try to eat sattvic food. Try to fast every 15 days or 7 days. As Vaishnavas, we fast every Ekadashi, but try to fast on buttermilk. That would help you reduce your kapha. That is the best fasting I would suggest. If you cannot fast without water, if you can fast without water, that is wonderful, because according to the recent researches, that is anti-carcinogenic, that can even prevent cancer. So we should fast every 15 days, if possible every weekly, but not possible fasting every 15 days is must. We should walk and exercise for minimum 45 minutes. If you are walking, you should walk for 45 minutes. So walking stimulates the metabolism, and around 45 minutes are needed to digest whatever you have eaten in last 24 hours. But if exercise you are doing, then you supposed to distribute it. For example, if you are doing 45 minutes of exercise, so Surya Namaskar should be around 6 Surya Namaskaras. It takes 12 to 15 minutes. After that, Yoga Nidra should be there so that your exerted muscles get relaxation. And then according to your need, you can do asanas. Even after doing everything else, like if you are eating properly, fresh food is been taken, every 15 days you are fasting, you are doing exercise, if everything else is right, still, what I suggest that investigations periodically. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Now we can hear you. But we cannot see your PowerPoint anymore, Mataji.
Screen shooting. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you and see your screen.
Yes. So exercise you must have heard, right? Exercise for 45 minutes. Probably. Yes.
Yes, Mataji, you're talking of that investigating periodically. That part.
Exactly. So even though we do take early diet and we get up early morning, we have fresh food, we fast 15 days, we exercise regularly, still after the age of 40 years, I would definitely recommend to investigate yourself periodically, at least once a year. You should check that what is your lipid profile, what is your thyroid profile. You should see that how is your blood pressure going, your basic blood sugars are going, how is your BMI going, to prevent future coming diseases. So we should not think that I am taking less diet, I am fasting, I am exercising, so no need of investigation. No, it is not advisable. So you should periodically, once a year, after the age of 40 minimum, you should investigate yourself and have a diet, nutrition, lifestyle advice specifically for yourself. Whatever I am telling is in general, but every person is a unique personality. He or she has her or his own constitution. So for them to show their pulse, to have a discussion with the Vaidya, to understand what is good for them, what is bad for them in their specific case is must. So to understand yourself, and this changes every 10 years, you know, as your kapha pitta vata changes every now and then. It even changes from morning, afternoon, evening. So in few years, you know, it is not like that I have taken an advice at the age of 25, so that would run lifelong to me. No, your capacity of digestion, your representation of the diseases changes every 10 years, minimum 10 years. So you should understand that from 30 to 40, I was following this specific regimen for diet, lifestyle, and getting up and sleeping. Now, what is next? For next 10 years, what should I do? What should be my BMI? What should be my blood pressure? So these are to be vigilantly followed to keep our sadhana better. Just a minute. Huh?
You're, I think you are muted, Mataji. Up muted.
So this
Yes.
is a slide telling basic principle which helps in devotee's life. So first of all, we try and follow Pathya Palan. Pathya means we supposed to understand what is incompatible food. Right? There are some combinations which are not good at all wherever you stay. For example, if you mix fruit with milk, this is the deadliest combination. If you heat honey, you know, if you take water and honey in the equal quantity, this is not advisable anywhere, because those are very incompatible combinations or food combinations which can create very disastrous situation, you know, as good as uh, very emergency situations in allopathy, right? Similarly, there is a principle for eating curd that I would like to bring in notice to everybody. They say na naktam dadi bunjit. You should not eat curd at night. After 6 p.m., you should not eat curd. Na naktam dadi bunjitam, na chapya grutam. It should at least be mixed with one of them, whichever I am telling. Either it should, the curd should mix with ghee, with grutam, or with sharkara, means with sugar, or it should be taken with moong soup, mudgayush, with moong soup, or it should be mixed with honey, and it should not be heated. The curd should not be heated. You must be knowing that Punjabi ladies, I'm so sorry if someone is Punjabi, they mix the curd with the sabji, you know, the vegetables, and then they cook it. So if they wanted to add curd into the sabji, what should they be doing is they should be cooking the sabji first of all, taking it out, let the sabji cool to some extent, at least around 40 degrees centigrade, so that you can touch, you know, if the we cannot take thermometer in kitchen, but what we can do is we can try and touch the surface of the sabzi, and we can understand ki, yes, at this temperature I can eat. So that is around 39 to 40 degrees Celsius. At that time you can mix curd, that is fine, but you should not mix curd. Even while cooking biryani, they do this. They cook the vegetables, and in hot vegetables they add curd. So it is very bad for their health or anyone's health. So we should understand that we should not heat the curd. And at least if everything is not, anything is not possible, you should at least accompany amla with the ghee, with the curd. So these are some principles while eating pathya palan, means while following pathya. We should understand that these are the things that banana and milk, they mix together and prepare a sweet dish called shikran in Marathi. So that is very bad for health. And whatever I am telling is bad whenever you do it repetitively. Try to understand this. I am telling that if someone is having a habit of doing this, then it is very bad. If you are taking it once in a while, that is okay. If you are taking the banana, milk and sugar, mix it together, put some elaichi in it and having it once or twice in 1 or 2 months, then it is okay. But if you are doing it regularly, so then it is very bad for you. The second principle, what should a devotee follow is in Vasantaru, he should try to have Vaman, which I have explained as a procedure of he should have bastis taken under the guidance of a Vaidya. And in Sharad Rutu, we should have medicated purgation once a year. If you are healthy and doing these purificatory procedures, these are the detoxification procedures for your body. So accumulated kapha, pitta and vata throughout the year because of whatever you are eating wrong or you are doing wrong. So those can be removed. If over the years these doshas accumulate in the body, then only diabetes, hypertension, thyroid can come, because you don't do anything for your body for so many years. So if you try to cleanse your body periodically, so you would not land into such a situation wherein you would have complications of disease or then sub complications of complications. So that is the reason why it is being told that once in a year you should do Vaman, once in a year you should take Basti for 7 days, and once in a year you should do Virejan. So that would cleanse your body, remove the toxins which are superficially created. In 1 year, whatever the toxins are created, we can remove them so that the disease will not progress. Daily we should do massage to the body. Take in amongst the oil, sesame oil is the best told. So you can take only 5 to 20 ml of sesame oil, warm it well and apply on your body. That's all. It would not take more than 5 minutes. Apply it and then go take bath. That would reduce so many complications in the future. Doing Nasya, adding 1 drop in right nostril in the left nostril will not take more than 30 seconds, but that would take care of the whole upper respiratory tract diseases that way. Fasting should be done periodically and diet restriction. Whatever has been told, Eka Shanam Sukha Karanam, it is really a fact. Those who are doing one meal in 24 hours, they can explain you. There are many other organizations who are even advertising this for prevention of diabetes. They suggest you to fast intermittently. They say for 16, 18 hours fasting, but just a simple Ayurvedic principle, if you follow, many diseases can be prevented. And for following this patha, whatever is compatible, there is a saying called pathe sati gadartasyam kim aushadha nishevane. If someone is following these rules and regulations, there is no need of medicine. This is against doctor practicing. I am a practicing consultant and I am suggesting you not to take medicines. But what I tell is, if you follow these basic rules and regulation, 90% you will not need medicine. And if you don't follow rules and regulation, I can create a heap of medicines for you, but there would be no use. You would definitely land into the difficulty, complications and sub-complications. This is what the second line says. Apathe sadi gadarthasyam. If someone have gadartha means disease and he is not following pathya, what would the medicine will do? Even personally, Lord Dhanvantari will get down on the earth and he would suggest him the medicine and he is not ready to follow the diet. So diet is must. Whosoever practicing whichever the pathy is, but whatever is bad for the health is bad for the health. It's not about Ayurveda or allopathy or homeopathy. It's about what is good for your constitution. So there are some simple home remedies I would like to share to you devotees, so that you would try not to take painkillers or antihistaminics or whatever you are doing for even fever. In these days of corona, people are gulping up dolo like anything. So that pains my heart. So you can sometimes try these things and can help yourself. For example, if urticaria, if you have reddish patch on roasted pepper powder, mix it with 1 tablespoon of ghee and take it early morning, empty stomach with warm water. In 3 days, your urticaria will go. You need not to take histaminic, but then you just supposed to see that your stomach is getting clear. So you are supposed to take a mild laxative, either Ayurvedic or allopathic, whatever, and this home remedy, and your urticaria will go. If you have frequent indigestion, if you eat in the morning and you have burps in the evening, you are not able to eat properly. So what you're supposed to do is take ginger water, 100 ml of ginger water, warm ginger water, and supposed to sip it every now and then. And in 2 hours, you would have a good appetite. Your indigestion would go. You need not to take many digestive things, you know. So this is a home remedy. If you have acidity, if you feel burning in your chest, and if you feel heaviness after having food, only 6 to 8 black resins would help. You just supposed to chew it, and your acidity would go. Or what you can do is take half teaspoon of cumin seeds and put them in a glass of water, 100 or 150 ml of water. Keep them for half an hour, 1 hour. Filter it well and drink that water. That would reduce your acidity. If you have cholesterol, hypercholesterolemia, you try taking 1 pinch of fenugreek seed every day, early morning, empty stomach with warm water, and after 3 months you check your cholesterol. It would reduce to a wonderful extent, because this fenugreek seed helps in digestion of fat. When fat metabolism improves with this. If you have obesity, if your BMI is high, you are supposed to take 1 tablespoon of triphala powder at bedtime with warm water. Gradually, your metabolism would reduce, your stomach would get clean, and you would start reducing weight. If you have diabetes, try to take turmeric and Terminalia cebula or haritaki, harad we say in Hindi. That powder is frequently available everywhere. This is a kitchen remedy, you know. If you mix it together and take 1 tablespoon every day, early morning, you would see that for so many patients, and it helped like anything. So this is a kitchen remedy, you know, and you take so many anti-glycemics and, you know, anti-hyperglycemics. If you have insomnia, at bedtime, you can take 100 ml of warm milk and have a head massage. And you, in out of 100 cases, in 80% of patients would have a good sleep with this home remedy. If you have hair fall, eat fresh coconut, this much, every day, early morning. And in next 3 months, you would reduce your hair fall. If you have blood pressure, keep a small stick of cardamom on your tongue. Like we keep depin, you know, but we keep sublingually depin. We should keep this stick of cinnamon on our tongue, and gradually, but we are supposed to follow diet. We should not eat wafers continuously and keep cardamom, then it would not help. You are supposed to control the diet, reduce your salt intake, but then take this home remedy and your blood pressure would reduce. If males have infertility, they should every day eat fresh avla, have ghee in their diet, and they should drink gold fortified milk. That would help. If you have low immunity, if you have allergic rhinitis or sneezing early morning, if you have body ache every now and then, you're supposed to take 2 or 3 tulsi leaves, offer to Krishna, and then you can take this. Or have a small piece of ginger in your mouth. Gradually, your immunity would increase. If you have fasting, you know, I always say you fast. If you have fever, I always say you must fast in fever. You should not, you know, take paracetamol and eat whatever you want. No, you just give time to the body. You know, excess pitta is trying to come out because the digestion is not well. You just give some time to the body and the body would recover. Try to cold sponge your body. Give some time. Even Mahatma Gandhi used to say this. If you have fever, you can apply mud, you know, the whatever mud you have around yourself, you can apply it on your lower abdomen, below umbilicus, and on your lower back, and the fever would go. So the toxins are situated and those would remove. If you have cough, you can have honey and ginger in the equal amount. If you have pain, whenever you have pain, you just try one thing. Take warm water, half glass of warm water and drink. First of all. Yatra yatra shulaha tatra tatra vayu. Wherever there is pain, there is vat. And the treatment is of vat is warm thing. Hot thing, application of oil. So you can have hot fermentation or drink warm water or have oil application and the pain would reduce. No need of taking painkiller every now and then. If the intensity is more, if you tried this thing and still it is not going, then you can try with the painkillers. So coming to the conclusion of this small talk, I request to have food, whatever food you are having, it should be offered vegetarian and in the sattvic form. We should regularly have sleep of 6 to 7 hours at least. We should be starting very early, 9:30 to 9 p.m. in the evening, and we should get up by 4 a.m. in the morning to increase the intensity of our sadhana. Exercise to the half of our capacity daily we should do. Except summer, we should not sleep in the day. Sleeping in the day is very bad. Whenever you are hungry, you eat, and whenever you are thirsty, only you drink in the capacity you have, not more than that. Try to do detoxification procedures like Vaman, Virechan, and Basti, even though you are healthy. Try to use as much as kitchen remedies and home remedies if you as you can, rather than going to the doctor every now and then and picking up of the pills. And whenever it is needed, you feel that it is a requirement, try and go to an Ayurvedacharya and try to understand what is your constitution, what is good for you, what is bad for you, what should you do to improve your health, what is your current state of health, and they can help. This is what I wanted to share today with you all. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience of internet in between. Hope you have some sight of Ayurveda.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, wonderful one. Mataji, that's a wonderful one. Because you gave us what to do with this human body, the machine. Kaise rakhna hai machine? if it has to run smoothly, the sleep aspect, eating aspect, what should be eaten, how it should be eaten, quantity of it. And I really like the dinacharya of what we need to do for this body, starting from waking up, and the emphasis on that we have to answer the urges of the body, the defecation or, emptying the bladder. That should be done first, even before we sit for the chanting. That is an important message out there. Otherwise, all those toxins will be building up. So dinacharya was really awesome. Yeah. And I will let Aditya and Prabhu, if you want to open up for the questions, if you all please go ahead. And then maybe at the end I'll conclude. But a beautiful one, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shraddha Mataji. So much information and so very useful information. We are very, very grateful to you. Mataji, there are some questions on the chat. Like, first of all, I have received a couple people asking that is it possible to get these slides with so much information that we are not even able to
get these slides, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, these slides.
Yeah. This is for you only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. So that is one. Then someone asked whether they can actually consult you like personally, like on a personal level.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Shraddha Mataji. So someone asked whether they can actually have consultation with you on a personal level.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can even help. And if they want, if the difficulty is related to my specialty, I can help. I usually practice for infertility, diabetes, skin disorders, and arthritis right now for the last 12 years. And if this doesn't come in this criteria, I can suggest a proper physician who is a devotee for them also. So both the ways, definitely. I am there to serve always.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. One question that came up on the chat was that Rucharya, you were actually explaining, right? The different months, and so they said, does that differ geographically? Because sometimes, rainy season and
in America, you have winter season more. Definitely, yes.
So that
geographically it changes, definitely.
So that was one.
In America, you have winter season around 8 months, and summer is very late. Even the rainy season get inculcated with the winter season. So that is the reason why I told that it definitely changes with the geography. And we have to understand sitting there that which season is going, that can be observed around the atmosphere, and then it can be told, it is on the atmosphere's presence, how the trees goes, how the flowers come, if they shade, if they come, how the rivers flow, that way it is. So that is fact. So we can chart it for US also, that is not a problem.
Thank you, Mati. One more question here. Avanish Prabhu is saying very inspiring, lots of new information. And he said like Ayurveda will be my favorite topic now. But he's asking the question that can you please share any resource Can you hear me, Shraddha Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Guruji, I am not able to hear you properly.
Okay.
I'm
Can
so
you
sorry.
hear now, Mataji?
Can you please repeat what you said?
You can hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Please tell me.
So one devotee is actually saying that very inspiring, lots of new information. And he said that today onwards, Ayurveda will be my favorite topic. Thanks to
Hare
you.
Krishna.
And
Extremely obliged.
this question here is, Mataji, can you please share any resource or anything about like combinations of food? Like you mentioned that milk and banana.
Yeah. I can share a complete list of combinations what you should not eat.
Okay. So that will be nice.
Definitely.
And also devotees are asking for your email address. Can they reach out to you?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Devotees are asking for your email address. Can they reach out to you?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. You can hear me now? Sorry, internet problems. You can hear me now?
You wanted to have address. What you said, Guruji? Hare Krishna.
Devotee is asking whether they can have your email address to
Hare Krishna.
reach out to you. Oh, Mataji is not able to hear.
Yeah. The answer for that is yes,
Oh.
Prabhuji. I
Yes?
already
Okay.
talked to her. She would share
Okay.
the information.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, Mataji, one more question here on the group is, can you hear me, Shraddha Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, okay. Mataji, one question on the group is, what age onwards would you recommend Nirjal Ekadashi fasting for kids? I think Mataji cannot hear.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, can you hear now?
Difficult
Mataji,
with
you
the
can hear
internet.
us now?
network.
He is not streaming live on Facebook. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, the internet is really going in and out.
Hare Krishna. Video order.
Shraddha Mataji, if you want to
Hare
just...
Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, you can hear us now? Hare Krishna.
I'm so glad that the presentation well without interruption. So glad.
Mataji, you can hear us now? I can hear Mataji.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, please continue. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience first.
No, Mataji, not your fault. Internet, we know in India is always in and out.
Yeah.
So Mataji, one question here on the group is, what age onwards would you recommend Nirjal fasting for kids? I don't think this is Mataji's. So Ujjwala Mataji, maybe we can send questions to Mataji separately.
Yes, yeah, actually, I was going to contact her again. There's a huge amount of information that we could use. I would ask Mataji all the slides and anything more that she would like to share. And for all those who have registered, in other words, if you share your email address, even now, we could send all this information, including the handouts. And if you have any questions or so, you may email us those questions too, and we'll get in touch with Mataji and give you the contact information too. So please send us an email. We'll be able to provide you all this information. Just want to check if Mataji is back again. Are you there, Mataji? Shraddha Mataji.
My mobile number and email ID I would share with you, Mataji.
Sure, I will. Yeah, I plan to send all the information that you give to everybody that sends their email address, Mataji. Will do.
Yeah.
Will do. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you. So on that note, unless we have any more questions that are unanswered yet, I guess we have, yes, we took almost all the questions. So our sincere gratitude to you, Mataji, for your availability, because we know Ayurveda is wonderful, And the preventive aspect is so much emphasized on that. And you, as you beautifully said, if only we take care of those things, we would not end up in disease. So that part is available only in Ayurveda, not so much in allopathy. Allopathy is good for something else. So that's why we are very grateful for all this information. And yes, we'll keep in touch with you so we can send out all this information to the devotees. So thank you from all of us to you.
Hare Krishna.
Hopefully
Whenever
we
see you
can
all.
have,
Thank you very much.
yeah, hopefully we can have more sessions of it in the future, Mataji, because here in United States, we want Ayurvedic help, and we don't have any Ayurvedic practitioners around, especially with the expertise and experience. So in that regard, if we have any needs from the devotees, we will get in touch with you. And if you could please provide us the resources and give us the contact of the wonderful Ayurvedic doctors that are present in India and can help us here, that would be a huge help for all of us.
Definitely. I will try my level best to.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. And despite all those challenges with the network, we are fortunate we could hear something from Mataji, all the important stuff. Grateful to Mataji if she's still with us online. But all of you, dear devotees, yes, this is the Ayurvedic part, the physical health, in the physical health aspect of the wholesome devotee care pyramid. This is the Ayurvedic part. Next week would be Gauranga Prabhu, since he's available next week only. He will be talking about social health and devotee interactions and devotee care. But the week after will be the yoga. The other aspect of the physical health will be dealt the week after. We'll keep you posted. Please send your email address and we'll send you everything that we have covered so far in wholesome devotee care from the speakers, including the handouts and contact information. So yes, pranams to you all, and we'll see you next week, 11 o'clock, same time. Thank you so much, Shraddha Mataji, and pranams to all the devotees.
Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.
Adityanarayan Prabhu,
Yes.
before disconnecting, I think the email address is there.
Yeah, I got everything, Mati. All the email
Right?
addresses copied. Yes.
As long as that information is saved, so we don't
Yes,
lose them.
I have all the email addresses on the group.
Sure, we can send the information.
Thank you again, Shraddha Mati. Thank you everyone. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hari 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 Hari.